Chrissy Rock returned just when everyone believed she had vanished forever, having been legally silenced, emotionally destroyed, and denied her motherhood rights. And she didn't merely talk, she dropped bombs. Chrissy didn't weep in a startling Instagram Live that quickly went viral. She didn't plead. She remained intact. Rather, she said, looking directly into the camera, "You guys assumed I was finished? No, I simply gave them the impression that they had triumphed." And then the turning point in everything, she turned on the audio. Authentic, unadulterated, and indisputable voice recordings of private discussions, recordings that depict a terrifying scenario of treachery, deceit, and a legal system that might have been coerced into taking baby Junior. She revealed voices that fans knew, including one that was extremely near to the courtroom ruling. Making remarks that shouldn't have been heard during the first 5 minutes of her live performance, the internet went down. What began as a custody dispute is now turning into a major controversy. What is actually contained in these recordings then? Who is going to be revealed? Will baby Junior return home at last? Chrisean isn't returning in silence, so fasten your seatbelt. Shh. She is pursuing everyone. The entire internet witnessed her break in real time when Chrisean Rock lost custody of baby Junior only a few weeks ago. The headlines were harsh. The public's criticism was unrelenting. And it appeared as though she had been totally crushed by the silence from her own squad. She collapsed just as the judge decided against her and was brought out of the courtroom in a wheelchair with her face buried in her hands. The collapse felt definitive, as though there was no turning back. Fans thought it was finished. Blueface boasted on the internet. Chrisean smirked as she went live. And CPS released a boilerplate statement that was icy and legally final and gave neither sympathy nor clarity. But Chrisean wasn't vanishing behind closed doors. She was recording, reviewing, planning. In the days after the decision, Chrissy severed ties with practically everyone, including her closest friends, and devoted herself entirely to what she dubbed Project Get Him Back, according to people close to her team. She stopped posting on social media. No tweets, no tales, not even a clue that she was observing what was happening. However, she was, and she was recording in addition to observing, because Christopher had started covertly preserving voicemails, private discussions, and behind-the-scenes recordings prior to the final custody hearing, which were rejected or completely disregarded throughout court procedures. These were deliberate, time-stamped, and loaded with disparaging remarks from those who had testified against her. They weren't merely sporadic snippets. Among them, a producer claiming to be concerned about the welfare of infant Junior, a caseworker, with the CPS made a joke about putting the drama to rest. And the voice of a woman who is thought to be Karen saying, "Don't be concerned. By next week, she will no longer be involved. They never trusted her as much as they trust me." And now that she's returned, Chrissy is making these tapes available. Chrissy came out of the shadows in a surprise Instagram Live that attracted over 1.2 million viewers in the first half hour. Not in tears, not furious, simply remain calm. She held up her phone while sporting a black sweatshirt and sparse makeup, saying, "They believed that I was going downhill. No, I was recording." Started screen recording right away. Then she hit the play button. The tape's first voice, a CPS supervisor, stating that if Chrisean were to garner sympathy in the media, public pressure could ruin the department's image. "We must safeguard the integrity of the agency. We run the danger of social reaction if we put off placement, particularly if she uses the mental health card once more." On her live stream, the chat room blew up. People wanted answers. Who took her baby? This person? How is this not against the law? CPs manipulated a baby's life for political purposes. Then the second recording followed. In this one, a well-known reality TV producer was accused of teaching a crew member how to cut out more serene scenes with Chrisean so that she would appear less stable on camera. Let's continue the pacing and the crying. Omit the scene in which she offers prayers for the infant. It's dull. People like unadulterated anarchy. fans were taken aback. Journalists started receiving texts from industry insiders. A producer of podcasts tweeted, "I have 7 years of experience in unscripted television. Many people are being fired if these tapes are authentic." But the most destructive tape had nothing to do with Chrisean. It has to do with Baby Jr. She played a muffled conversation in the last minute of the live stream, in which two people, one of whom was purportedly Carlissa, discussed the child's placement. They stated we could be placed in an emergency if we moved quickly and made little noise. However, it must appear clean, not a drama. Clean, involving Chrisean. She would need to be sedated first. Believe me, she won't even realize what hit her until she sees the judge. The harm was done even though the live stream ended before. She could elaborate, most likely as a result of overloaded servers or a forced removal. And the story suddenly turned around. On trending charts, hashtag Justice for Chris, EAN took the place of hashtag Protect Baby Jr. overnight. People started making demands. A court review in an emergency, a review of the CPS procedure, a more thorough examination of the role reality. TV producers played in the case, and Chrisean posted once more, this time a single black screen with white text. As the internet buzzed, "I have more. Do not put me to the test." The world had dismissed her, but now they are listening to everything she says. The internet went into full meltdown mode just hours after Chrisean's explosive Instagram Live. Some of the leaked audio clips received over 2 million views in a single day after being published on various sites including Twitter, TikTok, forums, and even YouTube reaction videos. Everyone's response was the same. Hold on, this was bigger than we anticipated. However, while supporters gathered, shared, and called for justice, were the people Chrisean exposed? They went into a panic. The live stream first unexpectedly disappeared from her page. It wasn't kept on file. It was not preserved. It simply vanished. Then, it was reported that overnight, Chrisean's team received several legal threats. A gossip blog was informed by an insider. In a single night, her lawyer received 5 emails. One request to remove the recording to cease and then to desist, and an announcement that CPS will be reevaluating public statements made about ongoing cases. Interpretation: they were afraid. However, the query still stood. Was anything that Chrissy shared truly against the law? An anonymous former CPS investigator shared, "It's not against the law if she participated in the conversations and it was recorded in a one-party consent state. Embarrassing, indeed, unlawful." Not always, however. That didn't stop Carlissa from retaliating. She went live the very following morning, but there was no smirk this time. No sunglasses, not champagne. It's just her, a bulldog snoozing in the background, and a pile of papers in the living room. And she came to get blood. First of all, none of you are going to sit here and pretend that Christ is a saint. She is making herself appear innocent by cutting up clips and sharing half conversations. Then, pointing to a blurry but unquestionably official document, she said, "This is what she doesn't want you to see. Judicial directive. Submitted last week, her charm was already gone. CPS isn't returning him. Not right now, not later," fans questioned. It right away. Why do you possess her court documents? Why is that not public knowledge if the appeal is rejected? Something doesn't add up. Even more dubious, she didn't ever display the front of the documents. Court seal was never displayed by her, and she didn't ever specify a date. Rather, she went on a tirade about fake fans, Instagram lawyers, and how she is now the one raising Baby Jr. However, when Carlissa was covering her in real life, Reddit was struck by a fresh leak. The Chrisean Live was mentioned in a screenshot, purportedly taken from a private group chat among CPS officials. One line caught my attention. "This one needs to be flagged. It might lead to a procedural audit if confirmed." Hold on, audit. What had begun as a custody dispute was now evolving into a thorough examination into the case's handling. However, The most unexpected development occurred that same evening when a prominent Hollywood lawyer shared a since-deleted tweet. The mother may have grounds to reopen the case and file a civil claim if those audio files are authentic. Boom! Civil lawsuit. All of a sudden, holding individuals accountable became more important than simply having baby Junior back. And who do you think fell silent? Blueface. Not a post. Not a tweet. No boastful tales. Nothing. According to some, his attorneys suggested that he vanish. Some people think he's scared that there are more tapes out there that could include him, particularly when fans discovered a video of Chrissy arguing with Blueface in the backdrop of one of her earlier incarnations. He states, "I don't care if they take him. Perhaps then you'll settle down at last." The comments now say, "This didn't hold up over time. He meant that literally. Just going to end that call now. I sense it. I sense it." Chrisean then posted again just before midnight. A dark background, white text. "I didn't say anything when they took my son. Now that I've been honest, they want to threaten me." Monday, Section 2, she continued. The post received over 800,000 likes in just 4 hours. It's just 3 words, screenshots, real names, and the caption. It has already been reported that actual text messages between her and the CPS agents will be included in her planned release. Screenshots of a group discussion regarding narrative shaping by producers. Given the possibility that footage that was removed from her reality program before it aired will be made public according to her team. She is currently consulting with a renowned civil rights attorney who has represented other famous figures in cases involving unlawful government action. The tide is turning quickly. What began as a terrible custody loss is now turning into a scandal that might erode public confidence in reality TV, the CPS's validity, and the entire process. And all of a sudden, everyone is talking about Monday, when Chrisean says he will divulge names. Monday morning started off with a bang rather than a post. At exactly 9 a.m., Chrisean Rock shared a 5-minute screen grab together with the description on her Instagram. Here, they wanted names. She was captured on camera, sifting through text messages, voice notes, and private conversations one after the other. There was more than anyone had expected to see. Slide 1 was brought up in earlier disclosures. During the chat, Renee appears at ease and even friendly. "You're doing great, Mama. Don't worry too much about the hearing. All they want to see is steadiness." A different message read, "I am positive that Blueface's mother attempted to call in a report last week, but we failed to flag it at all." Boom! So CPS had once been on her side. Slide 2. A direct Instagram message exchanged between Chrisean and a junior producer on one of her reality shows. The night feed and your prayer scene were cut. The producer admits in the messages, stating that it wasn't in keeping with the plot. "What story? That I'm insane?" Chrisean asks in response. His answer? "I don't decide on it. It was expected to be disorganized." Over 10 million people have viewed the screenshot in less than 4 hours. Slide 3. A Cash App transaction from a name was instantly linked by fans to one of Blueface's longtime pals, who maintained an unassuming exterior throughout the custody battle. The note that was attached read, "For the revised version." It went popular online just days before the custody decision was issued, and fans immediately connected it to a previously published video that showed Chrisean in difficulty while holding baby Junior. Today, they believe the video was manipulated to make it appear more unstable than it actually was. So they paid to ruin her reputation. It's one of the many comments that were left. They actually used fictitious receipts to construct the case. Someone is going to jail if this is real. And the final slide came next. A harsh, short voice note on tape. Carlisa's voice is unmistakably hers. She's smarter than I assumed if she believes she's keeping that baby. I've already given them a call. We'll bury her under papers. Chrisean didn't even provide any further information. After allowing it to play, she posted the caption, "Bury me, speculate." Hashtag Chrisean exposed by lunchtime, the system was trending globally. She received encouragement from celebrities in their comments. Kik Palmer says, "I'm sending you love. The truth is always reached by light." In a direct tweet, Megan Thee Stallion said, "Sis, we see you. Keep shining." But it was both emotional support and legal action. Several legal experts said that by the afternoon, Chrisean had received offers of representation from 2 civil rights organizations. She might be able to file a civil lawsuit against CPs, the production company, and possibly those who manipulated the evidence. One lawyer told the Shade Room, "The most important twist, though, the production firm for her reality show issued a statement. We are conducting an internal review regarding production decisions in light of the recent accusations made by Ms. Chris Malone. We take these matters seriously and will help with any legal inquiries." Supporters didn't think it was true. They are only worried now that she has proof. You cut her motherhood like a villain arc in reality. Too late, too little. As the media scrambled to cover the criticism, Blueface went live for the first time in days. However, he swore rather than confronted the leaks directly. "You can send 1,000,000 SMS messages. That suggests that you're a good mom. You weren't ready." PS noted that. That was noted by the court. That was seen by all. On the other hand, viewers saw anything odd. He appears agitated, defensive, and preoccupied. As he prepared to log off at the conclusion of the live stream, he mumbled, "But you had better use caution when handling those tapes." Fans grabbed hold of it. Why is he so afraid of recordings? Did she record him as well? What is he concealing? At the end of the day, rumors circulated that Chrissy had additional proof, including recordings of his conversations with Blueface that had never been made public. And that's when it all changed. A petition to reopen her custody hearing was signed by more than 500,000 individuals. Civil rights attorneys began to appear on TV segments, claiming that the case would set a precedent regarding how public persons are treated in family court. People close to CPS also said the department is conducting an internal investigation after whistleblowers said their decision was impacted by external factors. The most amazing thing, according to a court clerk leak, Chrisean has already been invited to testify at an emergency reassessment hearing. The day, 11 days from now, and now. They refused to switch off the cameras. By Tuesday morning, the news had become the talk of the town. The comeback of Chrisean Rock was trending on all of the major media websites, including TMZ and CNN's entertainment page, in addition to being well-liked on Black Twitter. The once ambiguous mother, who was portrayed as unfit and untrustworthy, had now become a symbol of both societal failure and resilience. Reporters talked about the court's first decision. The amount of reality television deception was questioned by opinion writers. Even the fans were organizing. In the 24 hours after her widely circulated exposé, 3 noteworthy things happened on Facebook and X, formerly Twitter. Almost 1,500 individuals registered for a protest outside the CPS headquarters in Los Angeles. A-list celebrities began reposting the video with comments like, "Don't let them silence her, and we believe mothers like Chrisean." Additionally, a documentary filmmaker disclosed that a short feature series called Custody Wars, The Chrisean tapes would be accessible on YouTube in less than a week. Carlisa, now cornered, tried to protect herself. When she went live again, she was visibly upset, stumbling through her responses, accusing Chrisean of editing the audio and blaming bloggers for misrepresenting the story. But it didn't touch down. Commenters bombarded her with criticism, saying things like, "Stop lying. We heard you clearly. Own it too really said you were going to bury her. Why are you so afraid now?" As Carlisa attempted to take back control of the narrative, Chrisean remained silent completely. Don't tweet, no stories, no answers. Just one Instagram story repeated a fan's message that said, "You're not crazy. You're a mother fighting against a dirty society." The silence simply strengthened her fans. Insiders from Zeus Network began speaking anonymously in the meantime. One editor wrote on a blog, "We were told to make her appear unstable. Every instance of her being calm and compassionate was caught on film. They lit fuses, initiated fights, and made her the antagonist. And they're in a panic now that the truth is out." The sector was beginning to disintegrate. Even to producers of other programs tweeted, "This is something that has been happening to women on reality TV for years." In public custody battles, they build them up only to destroy them. Experts from the legal field began to comment, "This case may force a re-examination of the percentage of social media footage as specially edited or curated content that should be used for determining custody," according to a family court attorney on a popular legal breakdown show on YouTube. If even one decision had been made using manipulated video, due process would have been violated. In the absence of a verified psychological assessment, a proposed amendment dubbed the Chrisean clause would forbid media-driven narratives from influencing choices on child placement. But perhaps the strangest moment? The formerly estranged cousins of Chrisean's sister in Blueface made the following public statement after a joint. "Performance, even though we may not always agree, Baby Jr. deserves better than all of this chaos." At that very moment, fans realized that this was more than just a play. Something was moving here. With the emergency hearing only 8 days away, everybody were holding their breath, wondering what cards Chrisean still had to play. Just when. It seems that things couldn't get much more explosive. A series of well-known gossip blogs were all hit by an anonymous email at the same time. Headline. They were all aware. The sender included data that would leave people stunned online. Claiming to be a former assistant who worked behind the scenes on the reality show's production crew, as well as the custody investigation. The first attachment was a voice recording of a heated exchange in coded language between a CPS caseworker and a Zeus Network official. However, one item was evident despite the distortion that needs to be finished on your end. "Gentlemen, she cannot have the baby on camera because the following arc has already been set." The pitch is ruined. The response of the CPS employee. Finished. In any case, she becomes very emotional when live. "We don't want to make news about this type of mother." Fans were taken aback. Did they claim that the custody ruling was made in order to fit a reality TV plot? A spreadsheet was the second file. When you zoomed in, you noticed one startling line item that initially appeared to be a production budget. Post-custody spin phase, press manipulation, contract reshuffle, and final edits, and next to it, a payment history to a public relations company that specializes in minimizing the harm caused by celebrity controversies. Social media took off. This was scripted, wasn't just personal. It's 4 ratings. They sold a mother suffering. This cannot be exploited. This is wicked. The leak's last component, an email exchange demonstrating that Blueface's staff knew about the impending ruling from CPS prior to the hearing. The communication, which was dated 2 days earlier, says, "Arrange the studio meeting as soon as we have confirmation on Junior. She must be under supervision in order to enter." The consequences were disastrous. And CPS released an emergency statement as fans started to process the shocking news. Also said that the tapes and email were under investigation, but also added, "At this moment, no formal ruling has been altered. Baby Junior is still in protected custody pending the conclusion of additional judicial review." Interpretation. They've been exposed, but they're buying time. And the suspenseful ending. Chrissy's team released a teaser video just minutes after the public release of CPS's statement. A grainy, obviously covertly filmed video that appears to be a backstage meeting between a network producer and 2 CPS employees. One of them states, on the audio, "Safety is not the issue here. It has to do with managing the story. We're in serious trouble if she enters the courtroom with a clean file." And after that, clip to black. And the last words displayed on the screen, "See you in court." June 12th. the internet exploded. Countdown clocks started to circulate. Journalists and influencers verified that they would be outside the courthouse. Fans began creating t-shirts with catchphrases such as "Fairness for Baby Jr." "The Machine versus Chrisean Unfit Mother," "Not Unfit Narrative," "Blueface 2." He only shared one Instagram story, which featured a picture of his feet propped up on a desk and the following caption: "What I said, however, no one was giggling this time, since the world is now observing." And what takes place next week in that courtroom? Everything will alter as a result. Now, with only a few days till Chrisean returns to that courtroom, the issue is not only what will occur, but also who will be revealed next. Because custody is no longer the only issue here. Power is at issue here. This has to do with control. This is about a lady standing up for the truth, not only for her child. What began as a show for the media has now turned into a battlefield, and the receipts are visible to you. The voices have been heard by you. You have experienced the feeling. It is now your turn to talk. Leave a comment now and let us know. Do you think the court's ruling was just? Was Chrisean the victim of systemic manipulation? And who do you believe ought to be in charge of Baby Jr.'s custody? Let your voice be heard. We want to hear from all of you, whether you are insiders, admirers, or critics. And if you support Chrisean in her pursuit of justice, don't forget to like this video. We assure you that this story is far from ended. So if you want to stay up to date, hit the subscribe button. There are new leaks appearing. Unnamed sources are coming forward. And the proceedings in court next week have the potential to completely upend everything once more. Thus, pay attention. Remain vigilant, and most importantly, be prepared. Because on June 12th, when Chrisean enters that courtroom, everyone on the planet will be observing. This is your update, but when will the next one be? Could be the most significant twist to date. See you then. Till the next time, keep alert and vocal.